Why is it important for people to come to this meeting tomorrow night?
Well, we don't want people helping unless they've been trained so that our efforts are coordinated. That's really important. And we would love to have help. We've worked for about 6 months to figure out who has done this successfully in moving crows out of a city. And we found a pattern, we've got a plan made, but we need help. We need volunteers. And if we have enough people, it should be maybe one evening a week, and even that will be like an hour and a half. We have to get the crows as they come into the city and deter them from setting up a place to spend the night. That's the idea, because once they make up their minds where they want to stay for the night, you can chase them all night long and they keep coming back.
But the Crow Committee can't do this themselves.
No, there are about 15 of us, and that's not enough people. We need some manpower. We need people who would be willing to give up an hour and a half or 2 hours a week to help us get rid of this problem for Terre Haute. I don't know if people realize it or not, but other cities in Indiana don't have crows at the level we do. They seem to pick one spot per every 200 or 300 miles. And unfortunately, we're it. And it's serious. We do need to address it. And we have good help through the city. They're cooperating. They are training the people on our committee how to use the equipment. What we will be using looks like a gun, but doesn't shoot regular ammunition. It just makes noise and shoots off something like a firecracker, but nothing that would hurt anyone other than the percussion of the noise. So, but we need training on how to handle it, and we need people who, if they don't want to handle a gun, we still need people to drive. We need people to spot. It's not very safe to drive and also be looking at the skies, trying to figure out if there are a group of crows headed what direction. So we don't really want to ask people to do that. It isn't safe. So we could easily use 3 people per team. And we would like to have 10 people available, 10 teams available every day if we can do that much.
What can you say to convince someone to apply to do this?
It should not be a difficult thing to do, but it's very important. People who are downtown believe it's important. People who go to St. Benedict's Church know it's important. We were just engulfed in this mess 2 years ago. And then Indiana State University has had them when they got pushed north. They went to the campus. They got pushed out of there. They went to Union Hospital. And if we don't work together, all we can succeed in doing is getting them from one building to another or one neighborhood to the very next. But the plan that we have is to push them back toward the river and down the river onto property that's owned by the city. And they say this is a area that is tolerant of crows. In other words, it is not bothering anybody's home or business or sidewalks that they need to use. And at least the crows are making a mess someplace where it's not going to be underfoot for people. And that's the plan, and it's not easy. And last night I could see that about 4 or 5 days ago I saw the crows come in, and the sky was still light and beautiful, and the clouds were pink, and the sky was baby blue, just gorgeous. Then here comes this black ribbon of crows flying so close together you couldn't see any daylight between them. Thousands and thousands. They went over downtown, over St. Joseph's Parish. They went on down and made a circle downtown, and they landed in the trees by the railroad track at about 11th and Poplar. At that point, they weren't hurting anyone. They weren't on anybody else's property. And if the railroad people don't care, then that would be, I guess, okay. The trouble is they've covered a lot of territory, and when they get crowded in that area, they'll spread out, and that's what's happened before. We have probably 20 to 30,000 crows here already. We've had a count as high as 80,000 one year. I mean, this is serious, and we need help. We don't have enough people to make this work right. If we had more help, we could have a lot better chance of making it work. It isn't very easy when you decide you're going to try and train 80,000 crows. It is hard work. We can't shoot them because of being in the city, and people would resist that anyway. They can't be poisoned because you might poison other animals or other birds that are protected, and you wouldn't want to do that either. And you
But they're
don't.
also part of the ecosystem.
They are part, and they're here largely because of our cornfields that surround Terre Haute and the river, which gives them a nice highway to our area. And those are the ingredients. But then once they get here, you can't be really sure what it is they want, why they keep coming back. Some people say they want warmth of the city. Other people, no, why would they go and sit on a layer of ice by choice? Why would they be up on wires and on tops of buildings where it would be the windiest place in town? Does that make sense? We're not sure. Some people say they want light. Well, they're not going to get light in the trees by the railroad tracks. They're not going to get food there. So we don't really know why, except we do know that more and more crows are looking for cities to spend their winters in. And we wish they would continue south and not stop here. But given the situation, the way that we are hoping to handle it is to have enough help that we can corral them and push them back toward the river and then down the river onto city property where they really won't be bothering anyone. That's our best hope. And we would love to have anyone's help with, say, 18 and older. And if you're willing just to drive, that's fine. If you're willing to make a recording of where you saw the crows, on what street, at what time, what buildings, what trees, that's a help. If you're willing to handle the, I hate to use the word guns because it doesn't shoot anything but noisemakers, that would be good too. And that's just a little bit harder. So most of us don't know how to do that. But we would sure welcome anyone who's willing to help. And if we have more people, we can spread the load and of the work. And I'm hoping that people make this into a good time. If you find a couple of friends to do it together, and go out for supper afterwards, we'll be moving earlier and earlier as we change back from daylight saving to Eastern time. And then it'd be even earlier and earlier as we go to December 21st when we have our shortest day. So we have to adjust to when the crows are coming in, because once they're settled, there's not too much that can be done very successfully. So that's our plan, but we are making an appeal. Please, if you have time and can do it, please consider helping. You can come tomorrow to City Hall at 5:30. We'll have a training session that lasts for about an hour. The whole plan will be explained, and then for the people who are willing to handle the noise making and the firecracker type equipment, there'll be a training session out on the parking lot, and we'll provide eye protection and ear protection, and hopefully have enough people that we can get a schedule together and get serious, because we have the first influx of crows here right now, and we really can't waste any more time. We have to get right on the job and try and move them somewhere else.